Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It is Wednesday. It's June 3rd. This will be our chart lesson for today. And today was almost a mirror image early on of yesterday. It was kind of scary how similar it was. And again, it's just another range day. You can tell, when prices are steadily swinging both sides of the EMA like this. So pretty straightforward day. Um, there were some nice trends from one side to the other, pretty much. You had the one working up. This one was a little tricky. If you use those first few swings, you had a couple of break outside, and then you overshot it here, and then you got a measured. Just show you this. There's the first leg down. You had almost a perfect measured move down, um, and then there was actually. And then when we started back up, I would have taken this leg, measured it, and looked for something similar, and you see we got almost a perfect measured leg there. So, be sure you use those. Even on range days, they tend to work. Um, so always pay attention to them, but really a pretty good trading day. Again, you had to be a little bit more patient early on, and then you got, really this moved down from about 9:30 or so till lunchtime. There were some really good trades in here. So, and if you caught one of these on the way up here, or even this one on the way down, if you caught this trade and this trade, it's all you needed today. Depending on what your target is and how many contracts you're trading and so forth. But there's three trades here that would have gotten you 3 or 4 points apiece easily. So I like these kind of days. They're really predictable. And early on, this is what I was looking at the lows, but later on it moved up. And you can see that. And you can really see the, this was the open from the previous day. And you can see how that came into play all the way across there. And those areas are important. That's why I have those lines on there. They're very important, and they come back into play over and over, and that's why I put them on the chart and show them, and have that. And that's just the previous days, prior day open, high, low, and close is what that is. So in case you want to put it on there too. But let's talk about the trades. Fairly easy day, fairly standard range type day. I know a lot of people don't like these kind of days, but I tend to like range days because they're so predictable. And we talked about it yesterday that usually, everybody teaches the way to trade this up here is to buy this breakout, and all you would do is lose your money. And when you had this low coming back across here, right here, when it failed breaking lower, they teach you to sell that when you need to be buying it. Be a contrarian on range days. Simple as that. But let's talk about the trades. Anyway, we're working up here. It was tempting to want to go long right here. It really was, but you really need to wait. You had an overshoot here. You already had what looked like a break. This is a huge move up. Just kind of sit and wait, and when it broke higher and failed, you can almost count on it moving back to the EMA, and we're so far away from, it's almost tempting to sell that right there because we're so far away from the EMA, but you really need to wait on a second entry because look, if you'd sold it here, it pushed on higher before it came back. So wait on that second entry, and you got enough room to get out before you get back to the EMA, but it just keeps on going, and then it pulls back, and you don't have a long setup there, and you got really a channel working down, but when you got all those matching highs and this breaks higher and turns down and closes on its low, they got everybody trapped. That's a beautiful trap. Go short right there because you're probably heading back to the lows, and that's exactly what, and this turned out to be the trade of the day, right here. And there's even a little you can treat this like a breakout pullback short. You really need to be in up here, and it's a double bottom there. So I'm not as crazy about that one. I probably should mark that one in green, so I'll go back and change it. and add that one green, because it is basically the same thing as a breakout pullback short. Even though it didn't break lower, it acts just like one. Look at that bearish bar, and you know, be aware of a possible measured move, and we're probably headed down here anyway. So there's reasons to be thinking getting short there. And then of course you don't want to go short down here. You want to be a contrarian and wait on the reversal, the trap that's sure to probably come. And watch this. You got a new low, first entry, pullback, second entry, and that's even a nice bearish bar. But if you know what's going on, you know you can't go short here. And when it ticks lower and turns up, just have your stop right there, and boom, that thing is over in a blink, and you get 2 or 3 points out of it. And then it just kind of chops around. There's a second entry long here. I drew this one in green. It's off the trend line. We did break a little bit below it. Things are kind of flattening out here. The signal bar is horrible. It's huge. But if you want to get in with a limit order, I'm okay with that one probably, but I'd definitely use a limit order. But when it tried to go lower again and failed and turned up, that's where you want to go long, and look at it go. And this was the move. This was the move of the day, and just a really great setup there. And then you get your failed second entry short right here. Notice this new low, pull back first entry, move back. So there's there's your new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry, and it fails. And you know you're probably headed to here, so just take that one. And that's where it turns down. You definitely don't want to get short there. It was really tempting on this one, but again, I think you need to wait on the second entry. One comes there, but you got 2 bars stacked up. I think you need to wait and kind of see what happens, and it breaks higher above all those matching highs and turns down. And it's almost a repeat pattern of that right there. Notice all those matching highs and bars stacked up, and you got it again. And plus, you know, this is where they're probably going to trap people, and it breaks higher and turns down. I like that one. Then it pulls back and gives a failed second entry long. And those two make up the trend line. It's kind of a retest. That confirms it, but that's a nice setup. And you can treat this like a failed second entry long, because this is basically a double top. So pull back first entry, pull back second entry, and it fails. It's a nice setup there. And because it's a double top, you can treat it like a new high too. And this is also a breakout pullback short. Notice the double bottom, really triple bottom almost. Pulls back, test it right off that trend line. That confirms the trend line. But also you can treat that like a new high, because it's really a double top. First entry, pull back, second entry. And look at that. And there's the move of the day. And, you know, these big moves happen right where you would expect them to happen. And you can ride that all the way down. Definitely have that move all the way down right there. And then it pulls back, and there's a first entry right there off of the trend line, off the midpoint, right off the trend line. I really probably should make it green too, because after a move down like that, you know you're going to test those lows. But I really like, if you're going to play this properly, I really like waiting on a second entry, which doesn't come till down here, right off the trend line again. And then you get another second entry right here. That's the first break of the trend line. It's a big bearish bar, and it's a failed break higher there, second entry. So I like it. But when it bounces right there, you could, even though that's not a failed second entry short, it's close enough. Look at the low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. And I like going long right there, because it's also, I didn't mention that you would have had this up here by now. And that's a failed break lower from those lows across there. And they'll trap people that don't know any better, and you go long right there. And it pulls back. You don't want to go long on that big bar on the first entry. So wait, and you get the little trap in the second entry long. Again, this one, it was real borderline me making it green. But we're coming off the lows. And you figure we're probably going to go back to the highs, but there is that midline right in there, and there's some resistance right there. So, but there is a trap there. There's a nice trap there as well. So it broke lower and then went out the top all in one bar. So I like just having a stop there. I think you're okay with that. And that really got you into the end of the day. By that time, it was after 2 o'clock before anything else set up. So um, there's actually a failed second entry short right there if you're counting that as a new low. So you could have gone long there as well, and it got just enough to work. Um, but the bar is so big, and you have to enter so high. That's the reason I was a little hesitant, but I'll go ahead and make it green too because those rarely fail, and that would lead you to think we're probably headed to the highs as well. So, but then that got you into 2 o'clock before you had anything else set up. So nice day, um, lots of setups. You had to be a little more patient in the morning unless you were an aggressive trader and you're really good at reading this stuff. But I love these kind of days. I'm usually done early on these kind of days, especially when you get these big moves like this on these perfect setups. And, not much else we can say about today. We continue to hover around the 2100 to 2120 to 30 area. We just can't seem to go much higher than that. We always tend to come back down to 2100 again. So we'll just have to see. But like I said, don't let these kind of days bother you. Um, Learn to trade these days. Learn to trust these setups. And just be patient and wait on the right setup. Don't be too eager. So, not much else we can say about today. So I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.